Blessings, everyone. Welcome to the Thriving Healer Apprentice Sessions. I am your gracious guide, Carina Nickerson, and this is the place to be if you want to thrive as a healer. This is the place to be if you want to cultivate skills and competencies that many highly sensitive, empathic leaders of love need to thrive, like resilience, creative expression, the courage to welcome cash flow, and heart centered strategy. And with this in heart, mind, I am so stoked to be introducing you or to be bringing back Veronica Cresto, who has been my mentor for a while. And I think you've been on every single of my Thriving Healers since its inception. Yay! And this is
I
our
love
fourth.
it.
This is our
Yeah.
fourth run. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Veronica, but before I do that, I'm going to read the official her short bio so I don't miss anything. Um, Veronica Cresto is the author and creator of The Diamond Process, using everyday triggers to awaken the treasure within, a 7-step transformational system serving thousands of clients and students worldwide. I have that. It's amazing, by the way. I don't have it right with me, and it's beautiful. I highly recommend it. After 25 years of learning from masters in the fields of spiritual psychology, presence mastery, yogic philosophy, and psychology, plus 15 years of experience in the field as a successful transformational life coach, Veronica has discovered the vast difference between mediocre coaching and masterful coaching. In addition to facilitating transformational retreats and online courses, she passionately focuses her time training and certifying Diamond Process life coaches globally. She's also the creator of her popular series and transformational YouTube channel with 23,000 and growing engaged subscribers and over 2 million views. And your YouTube channel is the bomb. It's like,
Mm.
that's how I found you. So here's my little introduction, Veronica. That's how I found you was through YouTube, and it was on my morning after my morning meditation. I'd taken up the practice of listening to inspiring things on
Mm.
my walk before I'd go into work, and I happened to find you. And first video right in, I was like, ooh, like I'm like, because you had this, you incorporate mindfulness, I think, in a very accessible way into
Mm.
like your everything. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't even know this, like, that people did this, like that there were, because I'd been in the school system for so long. And so you opened my eyes to and my heart to just aspects of healing in my
Mm.
own journey, and then coming out with my business and being an embodied mindfulness coach, and really supporting me through various like challenges and triumphs that I had as a coach,
Mhm.
and running a thriving a thriving business.
Mhm.
um, and so I've been, gosh, we've been together like and known each other for years now.
Yes.
And I've seen you just go through all of these amazing shifts and changes and growth.
Yeah.
And so I would love to hear from you about, you know, yeah, you've been in the transformational coaching world for a long time. Um, what like are the highlight shifts, reinventions that you can kind of
Mm.
like that come to mind or heart as we talk about what it means to thrive as a healer?
Yeah. Well, first of all, this is so much fun. And I am so grateful to be here for round four.
Yay!
It's just such a blast. God, I feel like reinvention is such an integral part of life and especially business because, one of the big ones that popped for me was when I went from coach to coach trainer. Never in 1,000 years did I ever plan to become a coach trainer. It was like, I just wasn't in my vision, right? I didn't even know that was something I could do or was capable of. And I remember the two big transitions or like reinventions were when I went from at the start of my journey, the person who was like on her hands and knees in the redwood forest had left my life in Los Angeles to go heal myself and started running through this process that I now call the diamond process and healed my own life. And then the transition into actually going, huh, could these 7 steps help others? Like I've been doing these same 7 steps every day in the redwoods, like alone in solitude, healing, and it's something shifting. Could I actually facilitate others in this? And so that was huge to experiment with that and see that it actually was impactful and had really good effects, transformational effects on clients. The second pivot was when clients started saying, I don't know what you're doing here, but it's very different from traditional coaching. And I want to become a coach. Would you be open to training me to coach the way you coach? And I was like, I'm not, I would love to, but I don't even know where to start with that. Like, I'm not a trainer. And this was years ago. And people kept asking and asking. And of course, you hear something a million times, or at least, 10 times. And it's like, okay, like I need to look at this. And then one woman, Christine, I was working with her privately, and she said, would you be open to training me? I want to become a life coach. I want to learn how to coach the way you've coached me. And I was like, done. I'll put a beta course together for you. It was like the straw, something about her asking was like, I can do this. I can, that big vision of like, oh God, a coach training school. How would I do that? I just made it accessible. I'm going to do a 90-day beta course for you, and I'll teach you these 12 transformational skills. And that's how it started, and then led into a 6-month in-depth, transformational system. But those are the two main like reinventions that were just, and it all came from the heart, right? It's like when you just keep following your heart and what you love and pay attention to signals and synchronicities, it just, something bigger is guiding us.
I love this, and it makes me, and so it just naturally I want to ask, because what you're uncovering here is how how you have come to the audience, the niche that you have now. I
Yes.
think sometimes we can get so cerebral with like niching and like, oh, I don't know, I don't know what
Yeah.
my niche is. I
Yeah.
still don't. Like I'm like so, I'm kidding, but like it's like it's like but can you talk a little bit maybe about like how you've approached your niche and like what
Yeah.
you suggest for folks who are like pulling their hair out. Maybe they're not making videos or they're not doing stuff because they don't have their niche perfect.
Okay, it's a
So,
great
or
question.
yeah.
I had zero, I didn't even know what that word was, like the first like many years of making videos on YouTube. So I would make videos on YouTube based on things I was learning and discovering and things that were working in my life. And I just kept talking about the thing I was passionate about, and it would come in many different topics and forms. But really, it was the same essence of breaking through self doubt and just coming out and sharing your gifts in the world, living your purpose. And I was talking about how I was doing that, how I was breaking through. And I watch my videos. I know this may sound strange. I highly recommend it. I watch my own videos almost like I'm watching someone else, because a lot of times things come out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, where did that come from? And I also am watching to, because things will pop. And I'm like, oh, that popped. Like as a viewer, that's interesting. I want more of that. And so I started to notice as I was watching my videos that there was a thread line. I'm like, oh my God, I've made hundreds of videos on the exact same thing. Like, how is everyone not so bored? I'm basically saying use your greatest struggles to advance your spiritual and personal growth and your confidence. And so that helped me to realize, oh, I didn't even know what an empath was or a highly sensitive person was. I didn't have labels like that. I just knew I worked with really good people. And then I started to realize, oh, like a lot of people who fill out applications or, to get into the coach training program or something like that, they identify as an empath. So now I use that language, but it wasn't me figuring it out in my head. It was genuinely moving from generosity and passion, like what I'm just built to talk about. The thing that you can't stop talking about is typically the thing that you're here to be a stand for. It's the thing that energizes you when you talk about it. It's the thing that, people, when they hear you talk about it, their eyes sort of light up because the enthusiasm you're bringing is just woven into your words. It's not contrived. It's just part of the fabric of who you are. So that's really, I think it's more important to just start making videos, just start sharing your voice, get generous. Think of like the one person who could actually relate to the thing you have to give and make a video for that one person. And rather than thinking about how do I look on camera, and don't even look at yourself. I'm not looking at myself right now, right? I'm looking at the lens, and I want to
Yes.
look at Carina, right? Because that's who's here. But I look at the lens, well, first of all, because I know it's connecting with the audience, which helps if I'm looking eye to eye. But also, I don't want to look at myself because then I'm going to get myself into trouble, right? Because then it becomes about me. Does my hair look okay? Can they see I have kale in my teeth? Like what? Or instead, is that a chia seed? Like,
Yeah, no, that's me.
so I focus on the lens because I imagine the eye of my ideal client or somebody who's just struggling, who's an empath and really wants to confidently grow a business that they love. And I know it's possible for them. So I'm talking to her, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's,
I love this, like, isn't it? Because I was, when I enrolled to coach with you, I was already enrolled right before because I'd been watching
mm,
videos of, I had done Mindful YouTube University, and so
yes,
so I knew you in those ways, but if someone were, it, it's like it was this heart draw, this heart
mm,
connection, like it was beyond words,
yeah,
right? Like it was like she just gets it. And I think it's like you're right, that's kind of what you communicate. It's like what we communicate when we make videos and things that are coming from
yeah,
that place. Our people hear it, like they're like they feel gotten, like, oh, she
yes,
just gets it. I know she'll
yes.
get it. Like, I wonder what, and yeah, I love that. So it's like not getting so caught up in getting the perfect niche and the
Oh,
perfect message and the
no.
perfect, it's like I said, I don't have it. I'll never have it. I'm pretty, I'm like, it's okay. I'm always working it and reworking it and
Yeah,
reworking it. Like, and looking
yeah,
at who I'm serving and going, oh, like you said, like connecting the dots. Like,
right.
oh, all of my people happen to fawn. They're like fawners, my community, like in the stress response, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. So
Oh,
fawning, they fawn. I know, it's like so
what does
cool.
that mean exactly, fawning?
Yeah, I know, because it's like the newest F of the four F responses. Not though it's we usually knew the three, but the fourth,
Right.
fawning, people pleasing is a variation of fawning. So it's like, who do I need
Wow.
to be to get, your approval, your love, your respect? Like, we have this
Wow.
capacity to really kind of sense
Mm.
another, right? And to adapt accordingly. It's a brilliant strategy to survive,
Mhm.
like, to
Oh my God,
survive.
I've had that one my whole life. Yeah, that's something I've had to unwind and continue to. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, totally. I know. It's like, it's really cool. And it, like, exactly, because I can look back, I'm like, oh, that's like, there it is.
Yeah.
Like, and then because and it's like, yeah. So, well, I want to ask you before because I'm like, okay, so, I mean, you really, I've always, I think of you, Veronica, as like a healer of healers, but then I also
Mm.
think of you as like, you are you're such a good coach for healers, especially around creating and building and sustaining and nourishing business because of the way that um, you lead. I
Mm.
think is the best way that I can put it. You're not like, go, like, crush it.
Can you imagine me saying that? Crush
Crush
it!
it! Like, no excuses.
Oh
Like,
my God, I like
no,
hurts
like
my
that's like
body.
not gonna. So, I think so for
Whew.
so because sometimes we can think because I'm not like that, I can't be a good coach, right? Like for
Oh
me,
God, no.
I'm not loud enough, I'm not extroverted enough, I'm not that enough, right? I'm
Mm.
not big enough, like, because that's sort of like what's out there. If we're
Yeah.
looking at, these a lot of, this kind
Mhm.
of in the coaching arena, especially, that's what I've seen a lot of. And so for those of us that may not resonate with that,
Mhm.
um, what are those qualities that you think make a highly sensitive, empathic, as you put it, like leader of love?
Yeah.
What is it that you think makes us masterful coaches? What are the things we need to keep in mind to
Yeah.
create and sustain a nourishing? And this is called like building a business that nourishes you.
Yeah.
Because I always think
Love
about
that.
Veronica as like, I need some nourishment for my mind, my heart, my
Mhm.
business. Like you
Yeah.
have this relationship with your business that I feel like is not perfect, but very wholesome in this
Yeah.
regard. So,
I
yeah.
love that. Thank you. It's coming in to say, if you have a soft voice, that's your strength. I can't tell you. And if you don't, and you have a bold, loud voice, that's your strength. If that's your natural voice. I There are many coaches out there that I want desperately. My past coach, for example, who I want to learn from because they're brilliant. My nervous system can't because it's too jacked up, like it's too caffeinated. And it's like, oh God, I know my nervous system is going to go haywire. um, so it's like there are many people out there who are trying to mimic that kind of energy, and it is devastating to me because there are many of us who want to learn from you and just your natural self, right? Your calm presence, your soft voice, it's like that's a power. We come to you, right? You don't have to like, oh, like freaking announce it like on a megaphone. It's just you being within yourself naturally creates a frequency that creates peace and nourishment just as you speak, right? So I'd say that's one of the major, like, to be a masterful coach, being present in yourself rather than putting on a facade, listening, deep listening, like noticing the tendency for the mind to jump ahead really fast with answers and instead just stay present and listen. I just called my bank the other day to make a larger deposit that I couldn't do from my phone. And I was like, I end up on the phone with this woman. And for 40 minutes, I normally wouldn't do this, but there was some like divine assignment in that moment. She starts speaking about her life and dumping, venting everything that's going on. And I couldn't even believe what I was hearing, to be honest. I was like, this is one woman's life. Like, I mean, I don't even want to go there, but just the things that she was saying. And I didn't say a word, literally. I just maybe several times went, wow, because it was shocking. I was like, what did that person do to you? And that, like, whoa, it was very, I guess you could say, she just was rattled. Her life was very overwhelmed. She was on the brink of collapse. I just listened. And at the end, she said, I don't, how do I repay you for this? I can't believe how much you've helped me. And I was like, I didn't say it, but I didn't say a word. Like, it was literally all I did was listen. And she said, you called and now I feel like a reborn human. I just want to thank you so much for everything you said and helped me with. And I was like, I didn't say anything. Like, I literally, I think at the very end said a sentence, affirming something she had said earlier. And so deep listening is the transformation. My father's a doctor. He says in medicine, 95% of the ailments he sees, he's an old school doctor. He's not in this like race of a doctor. The industry is very different today, but he's a much older man and has a different education and things. And he says, if I just listen to my patients, it's fascinating. The knee pain is gone. The ringing in the ear stops. They just want to be heard. And he said, healing is really being heard. I was like, that's profound, Dad, right? Like, as a conventional doctor, like, you don't hear that anymore. He said, it's pretty basic. We just all really want to be seen and heard. So he makes these little notes in his chart of like the name of his patient's wife. He's like, oh, how's Greta doing? And the patient's like, oh my God, he sees me like I'm a real person. And
Yeah.
it's very healing. So I'd say being yourself, deep listening, asking constructive questions, like not yes and no questions, not yes or no questions, but almost the questions you would ask when you're really curious. Like, when you get that hit on something and it's like, whoa, and like a client just skims over it, you're like stopping the client in that moment and saying, wait, could you elaborate on that? Like, could you tell me more about that? Or could you, so that sort of thing to help uncover, create a constructive question. I love using in masterful coaching, which is asking a question that's going to lead to an empowering answer. So if I say something like, "Oh God, that's terrible. Why do you think that happened to you?" That's going to lead to a deconstructive answer. It's going to destructive answer. But if you ask a question like, "Wow, I really acknowledge how powerfully you've been, you were able to move through that. That must have been really challenging. What do you think the gift in that is? What do you think you received from it? Or what do you think you were meant to learn from that?" Now I'm asking a question that's constructive, and maybe in their mind, they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think about what I get from the challenge, but let me, and then that shifts their whole mind. Yeah, there are more. I think the last one I'll say is connecting the dots. So as a masterful coach, when you're really listening, you're going to see things from a place of altitude, and there's a magic that happens in the session as you're asking questions and really present. And then you're going to see some connections, like when you were saying this earlier or 3 sessions ago, and you're saying this now, I'm really seeing this, very specific soul curriculum you seem to have in this lifetime. Does that resonate for you? So it's connecting the dots. There's so much more I want to share because there are a couple more that are for masterful coaching, but I know we have more to talk about. But those 4 are a really good place to start.
Those I love it too because it's like it's a as a coach like I can remember, right? Like I can, but the constructive
Mm.
questions, that's like wow. I mean, yeah, ask questions that lead to a constructive answer.
Yeah, is it going to build the client up? Is it going to build their evolutionary muscles, or is it going to destroy them by putting them back in victim? Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it helps them to see something that they may not have seen.
Yes, exactly.
And this reminds me of like, and just, thinking of connecting the dots when I was talking to Sarah Sherwood and she mentioned, or she meant, not doesn't just mention, we go deep into surviving into our strengths,
Hmm.
right? So it's like this sort of,
Diving into our strengths.
yeah, right, right. Like that's her thing, and that's like, I believe that's the name of our class too, how to survive into your strength. And, I love this though to help our clients see it from a place of see it in a way that empowers them rather than yeah, has them come back into the like yeah, just kind of that place where they don't have power, they don't have agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see us make?
Coaches, healers, like, yeah. Oh my God. I'd say there's so many different ones, but I would say the one that jumps out at me is putting making money and going out there and building a business above one's frequency. Um,
Oh wow, I just need to pause with that. Well, can you say that again?
Yeah,
Making
I mean, this is what our society trains us to. So it's
uh,
very, very common. It's just like we're
yeah,
trained to work hard, really hard.
yeah.
We're trained to, like, we don't feel okay unless we're like blood, sweat, and tears, right? And so I need to put money. And so it's like there's always a lack of money, lack of time in our societal everything. That's every advertisement. It's like, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not rich enough, I don't have enough time, I'm not young enough. It's just constantly programming our minds. So when we can flip it and just focus on how we feeling good. I mean, I've seen this not just in my life, but in, I think, every client's life. When they put feel good over the strategy, the
Oh my
needle
gosh.
pushes forward so fast. Energy is the biggest needle mover, not strategy. Strategy is 20%. 80% is our energy. I mean, so it's like whatever a person can do to shift their energy, that might mean getting a side job. That might mean just unplugging for 3 days. My beloved and I just literally got in the Sprinter yesterday, we didn't even have access to technology where we went. We drove out into the mountains of North Carolina and swam naked in a freaking gorgeous, like no one was there because it was so cold. The water, this pristine, like gorgeous river, and slept in the Sprinter for the night. And I swear, it's like I feel incredible. And that was just like unplugging for one day in the middle of the week. It doesn't take much, you know, it was like sitting with a tree and just touching the stones and feeling the mud on our feet. You know, it doesn't take much, but if if we're in lack, the mind is going to keep going. I can have that later once I make money. I can have that later once I book that client. I can have that later. It's a trick, and it's never
Oh my
going
gosh, that is like I know there's so many people watching this right now going, "Whoa." Like
to
like that was such an important name right there, what you just
Mm,
named. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's, if we don't name it, it'll just own us like forever and ever. You know, spreading ourselves too thin is another one on social media, for example. I didn't build a business going to 18 social media platforms. I just really enjoyed YouTube. So I kept showing up there. I think the idea that we have to diversify and be in all these different platforms is not true. If you look at anyone who has succeeded, they're usually going deep in one platform. And so just, yeah, oh, like I would say simplify the strategy because things get way too complicated. I finally narrowed it down to three things. It's like if you just have these three things in place, you can have a thriving business. I've let go of like, oh, I have to have a multi-million-dollar business or income each year. I mean, that's meaningless to me. It's definitely possible. It's just, you know, it's very easy to build a multiple six-figure business if we can get our minds right. And it takes, that sounds so easy, but it's not. Because every single angle of our society is knocking down the psyche into believing that we have to do more and prove ourselves and we're not good enough. And you have to do this, you have to buy this, you have to do this, you have to get on all these social media platforms, you have to look like this. Whew,
yeah.
just, it's just, you know, serve three, four, five people really powerfully. You know
Oh,
what, I would even say serve one
yeah.
person really powerfully and show up for
Oh,
that person.
yeah. I'm like, see, this is exactly why I love you, and I love like your the way that you coach in this arena of like abundance and creating a nourishing business. It's like, yeah, how does it feel? And noticing the places where like we exchange feeling good for yeah, later. I'll just work
Yeah,
and push really hard right now so
yeah,
that I can have that later.
yeah.
And I think too, I love what you're saying about really knowing who you are because it's like, and
Mm,
really knowing what matters to you because that's
yeah,
been true for me too. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm not that. That actually isn't a multi-million dollar business. And like, that's not it's not my, that doesn't jazz me up.
at all.
You
Yeah,
know, it doesn't
yeah,
jazz me up. It's like, but serving deeply, and coming from a place of yeah, already enough, right? Like already enough,
yes,
like ease.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And having plenty of time to go out in nature or make your own schedule, that's huge. To me, that's worth so much more than any dollar amount. There's another one that I think is a big mistake or limit or pitfall, and it's focusing on the how versus the what. So what I mean by that is like a lot of coaches or healers will be like, this is how I'm going to help you. I'm going to first, I'm going to guide you through all of your challenges and I'm going to help you heal those. And we're going to look at like your childhood patterning and we're going to like disrupt that. And we're going to and then we're going to create your future vision. I wouldn't, that is so, it deters people because it's like, oh God, I'm scared to do that. I don't want to do that. But if you just focus on the when you work with me, you're going to feel confident on camera. You're going to be excited to go out there and serve your ideal clients. It's going to be natural to attract your ideal client because you're going to be so lit up and you're going to be focused on the right thing using a simple plan. It's that. So I said simple plan. That's like tiny bit of the how, but mostly what. Like what you're gonna get is confidence, joy in your visibility, client attraction, those sorts of things. So it's focusing on the what versus the how, on the benefits rather than the features.
That's so important too, I think. And because I'll talk when I work with a lot of yoga teachers
Yeah.
and yoga teachers who also coach, right?
Mhm.
A lot of folks who train with me as in the embodied mindfulness school, they're yoga teachers and they're like, they want there's this modality that can really help them, serve private clients. And that's really good to help, like, sustain your business and bring in consistent cash flow and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like, and so this aspect of, and we can get really caught with like, yeah, um, having the perfect what.
The perfect website and the perfect business cards.
Yeah, the perfect
Yeah.
website, the perfect business cards, the perfect way of talking about your program, the perfect program and all the different components. And do you have all the pillars right? And like, I'm like, whoa, Nelly, like, no
Yeah.
one cares. Like, really,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
actually, like, it's what you just said. That's what folks care about. It's like, it's the medicine. It's like, what's your medicine? Like, when you're talking about what you do, it's like, let's figure that out
Yeah.
because that's what people will hear, like, and what's
Yes.
going to be the transformation, right? Like, what's the result, or what's the how,
Yeah.
or and how you get to feel and how you will feel. You'll have more confidence. I love that. So
You're
huge.
touching on something though, like super powerful. So another mistake is people focusing on the website and the business card rather than an income generating action. If you're going to spend time on your business, like invest time in something that is going to require courage, and it's going to be generating of income. So getting on video and sharing something of value, and at the end making an offer is not like, here are the 20 things in my program. It's just like, hey, if you like this video, definitely sign up for my workshop that's happening on Saturday. The link is below. That's an offer.
Yeah.
It's just simple offer, and it's just like rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
Be visible, and profitability really comes from just voicing what you have to give, and some people are going to be right for it.
I love this because with everyone I've asked them, you just like let us right into it perfectly. It's like, what's a brave action someone can take
Mhm.
that's going to really move the needle or move the lever? And
Yes.
here you just gave it to us. Like,
Yeah.
I love this, like thinking about income generating, like an income generating action that's
Yeah.
going to like it needs courage, hence it's why it's a brave action, is because it's going to take courage for you to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like examples of that are, make a video and then at the end of being generous, make a simple offer. Another one might be go give a live talk at your local yoga studio and at the end make an offer. Another one might be give an online workshop for free, invite people to it and make an offer. Another one might be send an email to someone you think is perfect for your coaching or for your healing, and just invite them to have a free session with you, or to have invite them to work with you, or to get on a call with you, to sign up, potentially sign up for one of your services. They may not be right for it once you talk to them, but getting on the phone with them takes courage, and serve them. I think it's coming in to say something really, really important is know how to have a powerful enrollment conversation. That's really important. I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking like, I've now graduated, I'm a coach, and once I put my website up and business cards, like, yay. But make sure your coach training teaches you how to enroll. Like, that is very important. just as important as coaching skills, because otherwise you become the best kept secret, because you won't have the courage or confidence to make those calls because you're like, oh, I feel so slimy. It should feel like you're giving the biggest gift in the world, because when you do it right, it really is incredibly valuable to the person you get on the phone with. Um, so yeah, I mean, this conversation.
That's huge, though, what you just
Yeah.
said. It's totally true. It's like it's not. It's like if you don't have folks you're actually working with
Yeah.
and making a difference for,
Yes.
right? Then it's like it doesn't matter how great your toolkit is. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how great it's just, and you're not. That's not going to happen if you don't know how to have that conversation with someone that
Yeah.
has them really knowing if they're a yes or a no. Like that's
Exactly.
always like it's like I want my people to know like if I'm a yes or a no at the end, or if I'm a maybe, I want to know that. I want to know why.
Yeah, exactly. And that
No?
it's really not of service to get on the phone with someone and then they're like, oh, I'll let you know later. Because then it's like, no, just, can we agree that within 24, 48 hours, you'll let me know if you're a yes or a no? Because my job on this call with you is to make sure that I'm being of service to you. And if I let you walk away in indecision, I'm literally contributing to the energy drain that's been running your life all your life.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really important because I mean, think about how draining indecision is. Oh my God. So, I mean, God, I love it when a client gives a potential client gives a powerful no, like, no, now's not the time. Like, yes, that's so good. That's just as good as a yes.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I really want to do it, but I don't know. Let me sit on it. It's like, how has that helped you your whole life? Like, how exhausted are you in indecision? So, can we agree? So, this is me serving them by saying, can we agree either way that you'll just give me a yes or no so that you, by tomorrow, end of day or 2 days, 48 hours, so that we make sure that you walk away energized in clarity rather than an indecision. And they're always like, oh my God, yeah, thank you. That sounds great.
I love this is so huge. I hope, I've been taking lots of notes and I'm everyone that's watching this. I hope you go back and rewatch this, take notes because there's so many gems, Veronica. Be someone like I've been in business full time with the Embodied Mindfulness School for 7 years now.
Which
And
is
it's
such an
like,
incredible freaking school. Like, oh my God, it's so beautiful what you're doing in this world. It's incredible.
thank
Jason
you.
and I talk about it. We're like, holy shabib, like what Carina has created. Exactly. It is, it's the way, it's a place to be. Yeah.
Thank you. It is so thank you, thank you. I thank you so much. I mean, you helped so much with that and our just being, I'm so inspired by you all the time. And I love it's like you always are growing.
Mm,
So I've stayed connected to you, right? Like I haven't because I'm like, ooh, what's up next? Like, oh,
yeah.
okay, and it's like
Yeah.
my business has grown as you've grown too, and I've watched, I've watched you and coached with you and done all the, and so it's like thank you and thank you. Yeah, I'm so proud of this school.
Yeah.
And being a healer who's been in and when I say healer, I'm not we're not really healing anyone. We all know that. But it's like, the closest, it kind of encapsulates, it's a term that encapsulates our people,
Yeah. We're
Um,
holding a space for, yeah, for the healing, for them to heal themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, right? Yeah, totally. And so these are huge gems, like huge nuggets. I've been in coaching arenas, business. I've trained with two primary business coaches and been to lots of personal development seminars and such. And what you've just shared is it's like something that like it's like a filter, right? It's like all the
Mm.
junk you guys don't have to deal with. And Veronica's just like handed us the diamonds, hence that like it's like they're right here. So
Hey,
um before we go, I just would love to like talk to you forever, but I
I
want
know. Yeah, me too.
so everyone knows your brave action is make an offer. Go.
Yes, I'd say just write down frequency, visibility, profitability. Those are the three essentials: frequency, visibility, profitability, frequency. Ask yourself, what do I need to feel optimal right now? Go give that to yourself. If it's a bath, run a bath, feel good, go outside, get sunshine, do a yoga class, whatever you need to do, eat a beautiful meal. Then turn on your camera, be visible for one person, not for a whole huge audience. Just picture that one person who really needs help right now. Talk to them. You don't say their name, but just as if just see them in the camera, in the lens, as if you're just making a video for them. It's going to be really personal and it's going to be really easy to do it that way. And you'll feel way more confident. And then at the end, we're going to move into profitability by saying at the very end of the video, and by the way, if you loved this video, I am so excited to share with you a new workshop I have, or whatever your offer is, happening this Saturday. Click the link below to join. Just something very short, or it could just be as simple as, hey, if you love this video, click below, join me in my workshop this coming Saturday.
Ah,
It's
brilliant. And then
so
you have,
simple.
oh,
Yeah.
it's so good though. I'm like, got the three. Those are two. It all comes down to that. It does all come down to that. I'm like 100%. When it's working for me, all those things are happening.
Exactly.
Like
It's
my
rinse and
frequency
repeat.
is where it needs to be. I'm visible and I'm thinking like I'm making offers. And
Making
it's
offers.
like
And it's again and again and again. You keep making offers, but
all the
it's
time.
all the time. You just let people know you're literally spreading flowers by dropping seeds everywhere. Hey, join my workshop on Saturday.
I
Hey,
love that.
yeah.
Easy. It's like,
Yeah.
here, like, oh, it's so, and then last little bit is your free gift for us are the four cornerstones to life coaching success.
Yes.
So thank you. If you want to just mention a little bit about that, and we'll drop the link in the notes for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Jason, my husband, and I train coaches together, and we, through our years of doing this, distilled it all down to four cornerstones that are absolutely essential to thrive as a coach. And if you've been feeling overwhelmed around where do I start or how do I succeed as a coach, this masterclass is going to help you cut through that overwhelm and confidently coach, and also break through whatever that block has been to an overflow of clients. We reveal that in this master class so that you can take powerful action from the master class. It's actually really fun.
It's always, and like I love Jason too. Like you guys
Yeah.
together are so good. Like you
Mm,
have such a good, like it's funny and it's good and it's like the both your perspectives add to each other. You're not
mm,
repeating things. It's like you
yeah.
really add to each other. So
Thank you.
definitely everyone will thank you so much for making that generous offer. And thank you, Veronica. It's just
Yeah.
been amazing to
Oh,
have you back and just more gems. I can't wait for for our community, for this audience to just see this and grab that
mm,
free gift from you.
yeah.
And thank you for
Thank you. I want to say to everyone, thank you for going out there and bringing the work you're here to bring to the world by being really generous with yourself, putting your frequency first. Your frequency is your number one job. I keep this with me all the time. I just did a workshop and emphasize this, but I also keep it out for myself. And thank you for taking such good care of yourself, because you're one of the you're golden in our world. Um, and for sharing your gift from the overflow of your well-being.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and thank you everyone. And just keep on keeping on with these sessions. We have we have more classes in this series, more things to help you really thrive as a healer. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for the rest of our sessions. Sending you so much love and many blessings.
Mm,
Namaste. Namaste.